Hello, everyone. Welcome to the third episode of my podcast, Flowering into 5D. I have such a special guest with me today. Her name is Maria Louise, and let me just tell you some of the amazing things about her. So she is honestly this bio doesn't do justice, but she is a sacred space holder. She is a transformational guide, and she is a devotional practitioner. So she has actually been attuned to energy since childhood, guiding her to explore a wide range of holistic traditions. Her journey has taken her through the ancient wisdoms of Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, Reiki, crystal dreaming, and the breath of life itself through BreathLIGHTbliss facilitation. She is a certified Kundalini Yoga Teacher, Wu Dao Dance Teacher, Ignite Your Spirit therapist and teacher, and was ordained in the lineage of Mary Magdalene, in 2023. With over 25 years of experience weaving shadow work, inner child healing, and somatic integration, her detox wellness programs are renowned for their deep soul level transformation. Maria Louise has guided countless seekers across continents, including myself, holding sacred space in wellness retreats and yoga centers in Sydney, Cambodia, Thailand, and India. She now resides in her spiritual home, Rishikesh, where her devotion continues to bloom. So, wow. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much, Sam, for holding sacred space for us both. It's been a while since we've actually connected
I
in our
know.
home of Cambodia. So I'm very, very excited to be a part of your podcast and see your blooming, flowering, as the name suggests, flowering into 5D. It's so gorgeous to see the transformation. That's why we do this work, isn't it? To see the
Absolutely.
before and to see the after and the journey between, because we all have that journey, don't we?
Absolutely. And Maria Louise, I hold you in such a high regard. Like, you honestly changed my life. And I'm not like trying to be dramatic here. Like, I really want to say that I feel like you helped me get pregnant through the way that you held space for me and facilitated just all of these different levels of transformation. I just, yeah, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for everything you've done for me.
It was divine timing. I think everything is, it was a beautiful time for all of us to be. We thought we were stuck. We thought we weren't going anywhere. It was COVID, but we
Yeah,
all had a magical, magical time. Not easy, as Cambodia and life wasn't that easy at that time, but you got to have a beautiful, beautiful experience. And I was feeling very blessed to have this technology that we could share and it actually work, to see it flower, literally.
yeah, literally. And I have this picture saved on my phone of the mother blessing that you facilitated for me, and
Wow.
my daughter just absolutely loves looking at it and says like, "Wow, like look at all those flowers and like who did this for you?" And I'm like, "A special lady. You're gonna meet her one day." It's just wow.
Yeah, that was a really, really special time, wasn't it? That was a beautiful, and the people that were there, it was a perfect location. It's when you're in the divine flow, when you're in the heart space and you're birthing something, it doesn't have to be actual being, but when we
Mhm.
can be in that sacred space, that's what I love doing this work and sharing this work. Not that it shouldn't be, I hate that term work, um, but your passion, sharing your passion. And you're glowing. So the afterglow is still happening, which I love to see.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I am still in Cambodia. I'm still in Kampot, and it's quite different than what it was. I feel like, this, like, kind of like you said, like we were like stuck here, like this like community of people. We're all here and we're all holding space for each other. And then slowly, slowly over time, people, started leaving and countries were opening and everything. And now it's just kind of this different place. I mean, it's still good, obviously, but it's not the same as it was for sure.
And Sam, nowhere is like even India, India is definitely not the same. Developing countries,
Mm,
they are, they're going a bit more Western, which is unfortunate that we're going towards the East, more spiritual, and they're going towards the West, and that's the circle of life, I suppose. It has to happen. But we've got to find that sense of community. I think that's what I really loved and missed about Cambodia, that we had that beautiful community because we weren't going anywhere. We had to be.
yeah.
And it was a really good model. I think it was a really good model of what can happen.
Hmm. I couldn't agree more. This is the kind of thing that I aspire to have in the future as well as this community. I mean, not everybody is like, way up there 5D all the time now or then, but in the future for me, I see this community surrounding me that is, very spiritually in touch. We're not exchanging money, we're exchanging, not favors, but services. And, it's just this beautiful, this beautiful manifestation that I'm working on and that I really see. And I'm just wondering, do you see that for like where you are and just like the world in general, or like what do you see?
I would love to. I would love to. I mean, I had that vision when I was a child.
Mm,
Even when I was a child, I was really wanting to have community, and I envisaged like domes, and it would be like separate things, but there would be a communal in nature. Like nature is always being my place. I've got to be somewhere that's nature, water.
mhm.
And I think people are very disconnected. I mean, we are very alone, especially the West. Coming back to the West, living in the West for 2 years after being in Cambodia and Thailand and India, I was really shocked at how the lack of community, because people are living very isolated lives. They're very busy, in Australia,
Mhm.
especially working. You just
Mhm.
work to
Mhm.
accumulate, which is really lovely if that's what you want to do. But you see the health, the mental health, the physical health, you see the byproduct of that. There has to be something that's out of balance if that's all, if you're not having something of a higher nature
Mhm.
to connect to. I think that's and you see in Cambodian culture and Indian culture, they have a lot of reverence. There's a lot of devotion in Bali as well.
Mhm.
In my culture, unfortunately, it's more drinking culture. And,
Same
but,
as a
but
Canadian.
maybe it
Same.
will. Yeah, maybe it will change. I mean, everything is changing. You can just see the world is really, really changing. So that's why, again, I hopefully communities have to rise because, again, homelessness, we wanted to have that topic being in your 50s and starting as a digital nomad. I was like, I don't have to go back to Australia anymore. My
Mhm.
family are there, but my beautiful parents are no longer on the earth. So I don't necessarily have to go back there. But in Australia, 50 and beyond older women are the most homeless. It's the highest per capita of homelessness in Australia.
Really? Oh my
So
goodness.
there needs to be something, and there's vacant, buildings in the city, la 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 la. The cities are now, because people are working remotely a lot after COVID.
Mhm.
So there has to be drastic change because you can't have the mothers, the grandmothers who've supported all these families, then just where do they go? They're invisible, they shouldn't be
Mhm.
invisible anymore. We can't have invisible people, especially when we're
Absolutely.
so connected all over the world. We are, if we want to
Mhm.
be.
Mhm.
I think that's a really big thing that we need to really respect. And I suppose in these cultures, they have villages that bring up children.
Mhm.
In the West, it's the nuclear family that literally has been blowing itself up for a
Yeah,
very long time. Nuclear,
literally.
they should have termed it nuclear
Yeah,
family because it literally, has been blowing itself up. So, yeah.
absolutely. And I this for me kind of touches on a lack of elders. It feels like, I'm not obviously saying that, oh, they're not elders or anything like that, because I mean, everybody deserves respect no matter who you are. But I really feel like there's like a lack of elders in the community that, like people that have something to pass on. And I'm not like, I don't know if that's the right word to, or the way to say it, but I just, yeah, like what do you think of that statement? Like, do you think that there's a lack of elders in Western society? Like, as in,
Totally.
like, Like,
Totally.
yeah.
Because obviously if they're homeless, if that's
Yeah.
the big demographic is homeless, you don't even have a structure, you don't even have a foundation on which to
Mm-hmm.
build from. You're just in the fringes.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the fringes. You're the forgotten. Literally,
Mm-hmm.
you're the forgotten ones.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that again, if you go onto the streets, if you go into homelessness or anywhere, most of it is mental health, and most of the mental health, in the West is totally medicated. It's a very not a great system for anybody to be a part of. And seeing my mother as an elderly and working in the disability support network as well, and we all have our own challenges. No, I don't think any family has been, not affected by health, whether it be
Right.
mental, physical, spiritual. I mean, we're all affected, which is so bad that that's the norm.
Mm-hmm.
It's showing something about where is the direction, who's holding the sacred space. Is there a container? There's clearly not a container.
That's exactly right. I
Container's no
completely
longer
agree.
there. There's nobody holding space for anything to
Mm-hmm.
grow, to flower, to be guided correctly, because it's all just going off in a million. Everybody's just shooting off
Mm-hmm.
in a million ways. And it's that I want that really fast. I want that really
Mm-hmm.
fast. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why the work that I've done with people, the most transformation I get with people if they've done a lot of things and they're so ready, they're so, open. So it's not a bad thing to be searching and to be going like that. But again, as we talk about, we've got to, it's going to make us go so deep within because the world's going to get more chaotic.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of the reason why, like you said, like I when I came across you or when I met you, I was searching for that. And I really appreciated you, not just because of all of your incredible knowledge and, all these different facets and Kundalini and Ayurveda and all of these amazing practices and all this amazing knowledge that you have, but also because you're older than me. Because, there's all these people, like, not to say that I'm super young or I'll be 36 this year, but there's some people my age, there's some younger people, and there are some older people as well, but I didn't see any of them and I didn't know any of them. And to meet you and to have you as like my aunt, that is like so cool, like I just felt like, wow, like it was so lovely to meet you and to connect with you and just, yeah, like,
Thank you
sorry,
so
I'm like,
much. Well, it's nice as an older woman to be appreciated, as you say, in Australia. It's, there's not, you don't have that outpouring, especially my family. My family are like, what are you doing? Get a normal job. I try and be normal, but I just can't be normal. I've been away. I've been living in the East for 15 years. I just can't. I can't go back to the working thing. There's got to be some heart. You've got to have some kind of transformation in
mm-hmm,
there. And these practices and this knowledge, it just doesn't really particularly fit. I think it's really important to find your tribe and to find your place
mm-hmm,
with people. And that's why traveling, that's why people travel. That's why
mm-hmm.
people go on adventure, isn't it? Because when you go back to your 9 to 5, when you go back to your home life, people are not even interested. People don't even ask you
I
anything.
know.
Have you been? What have you been doing? Having the best time? No, not interested. It's not even in their periphery because they're so, and again, I can't be judging because we all do it. I mean, money makes the world go round. It makes us feel safe. It is good. We are able to do things. But I always say I'm rich on the inside. I keep saying I'm rich on the inside. I'm rich on the inside.
Absolutely. Well, I totally experienced that as well. Like my husband and I traveled for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years or something like that. We finally came back to Canada and most people didn't ask anything about our trip. And were just so excited to tell us about all this stuff that they had watched on TV. And I was like, but like, again, I'm not trying to come with judgment, but I was like, but who cares? Like and I still kind of have that problem with people that I stay in touch with. It's very much like, well, I saw this thing on Netflix or blah blah blah, and I'm like,
Mm, mm.
cool, but what have you been doing? Like what have
Yeah,
you been doing in your life, and not just work, and it's always so easy to see from the outside how ridiculous the whole thing is.
How ridiculous and to not take yourself so seriously. And I think as an older woman now, you have to embrace it. And as a woman, we have to embrace all aspects of ourselves, women and men. I mean, I try not to polarize anything or anybody because that's been done for thousands of years. It's time to not be polarizing, oh, we're going this way now, or we're going that way now. I mean, let's just get together and get over ourselves and just, be kind. That's all it is. Come from your heart is all I ask. And it's not easy. It's a bit of a battlefield. Like I put myself out in some pretty extreme situations, and I've had a few knocks, but I'm still smiling. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But I've got some good stories to tell.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. So I saw in your I saw in your bio that you mentioned you were ordained in the lineage of Mary Magdalene. I would love to hear more about that, just for my own curiosity, honestly.
Yeah, well, she has from a Kundalini background, so that's what I loved. And just because I've been doing Kundalini, went to my first class in 2001. And it was a surprise. It was one of those things I wasn't planning, but it really spoke to me because it wasn't just about doing a physical practice. As a dancer, had a dance background, so I'm always wanting to be free, breathe. So it had more of a spiritual component. So I stumbled upon her through another teacher, and she had been studying yoga since she was 11. And then she really got connected into the female, into the Mary Magdalene. And I love anything, I think, that brings you into the heart space and brings you into the womb space. And I think as well, so below, and I'm very much into body keeping the score. And a lot of people hold a lot of trauma in their wombs, which I've seen through breath work. Having done breath work with hundreds and hundreds of people, it's horrifying to me that a lot of people can't breathe. We're not really breathing. Babies know how to breathe, but how come as adults? That's a really painful thing to have to watch because I can't breathe for you. So she has developed a technology as well where she's using essential oil. She's using a lot of somatic movements. She's using a lot of mantra, a lot of devotion. But it's about bringing these ancient wisdom, these mystery teachings are no longer going to be a mystery. Because it's a feminine, it's a flow. It's within you. You can't get it from a book. It's not written. It's actually within you. And it's just laying dormant. It wasn't ready. It wasn't a time for it. So you receive through your womb and you give through your heart. And how many people, especially women, because men and women share an energetic womb, how many women ever even think of their womb as a creation that you receive from it? Most of us are not even connected in our bodies, let alone the womb. It's abortion, it's miscarriage, it's pain, it's periods, and So I think so. She does a lot from menage, maiden. It's the whole thing. So the cyclical thing of a woman, I think, is really beautiful, which is really missing in my culture. I never even got the birds and the bees when I was a child. My mother didn't even give that. My sister did. She gave me the birds and the bees. So I think, and your schooling was, it wasn't a very ceremonial, devotional thing as it should be. I think it was very clinical, scared you, don't have, a lot of fear based. So I think it's really beautiful to bring that feminine, that divine energy in its truest form, not in a overt sexual way or, it's just purity, just innocence, essence. I think it's really, and so a lot of womb practices, a lot of somatic energy, a lot of dance, a lot of mantra. And she has a lot of wisdom.
Sounds beautiful. Wow.
It is really, and I've been doing it for a few years now. And again, it's like Kundalini. It's the more you learn, the more you have no idea.
Yeah.
I just have no idea. The more I go into it, and I've been doing it for a long time, I'm like, I just got no idea. There's another door that opens this. It's just because we are infinite. We're not the finite experience that we have, and that's what excites me, and that's what opens my heart, which will then open. You don't need to have all this information because it's already within you.
I love that.
It
I
is.
love
It's
that.
beautiful. It's the beautiful. My teachings, I love my teachers and I love the teachings. I just love them. And that's why I really want to be a digital nomad and share this. I don't want to go back to being a normal person because I just can't. Because my family tell me it's just stop talking, Louise. You're not making any sense. But I'm like, some
Mm,
people think I'm. So I just have to be, you have to have and understand that some people are not going to get your frequency because now we're going to go into a higher frequency. And
definitely.
that's okay. That's okay. Some people are just not going to get it. And you have to be okay with that. And I think as
Definitely.
you get older, and I think that's the thing about getting older that you don't have to. And I have to say about living in Cambodia, you can wear your pajamas, you can wear whatever you like. You don't have to wear makeup, you don't have to do anything. So it really takes away a lot of masks.
Hmm.
It's very raw because I think it's so hot and you're riding scooters, you're in helmets, and it's like, but it's not. And then as soon as I get on a plane going to the West, it's all these big lips and the false eyelashes. And I'm like, okay, I'm going back to the West. Child, it's like for me, it's like the inner child, the mask, that inner
Hmm.
child is very wounded. So I still
Hmm.
have to mask, you know? So
I
I have to
totally
puff it up
agree.
and I have to put it,
Hmm.
which, I don't mind that. I think it's beautiful. Some people look amazing, other people, it probably wasn't such a great thing. But would I do it? If I had $1 million, maybe I would. Who knows? Who cares? You do
Yeah,
what you want, what makes you feel good. If it makes you feel good, I think we have to honor whatever anybody's journey on is. But I'm hoping that I can keep as authentic and as organic and try not to be as much around people that have got $1 million and looking amazing. I want to keep the real people around me.
definitely. Definitely. Well, real recognizes real, right? And obviously, you know this, that you're going to attract the right people to you and the wrong people are going to go away. And, most people that are into that kind of mask wearing all day, day in and day out are just not going to get it, like you said. And I mean, that's
Yeah.
just not their journey this lifetime. And maybe, not to be like, maybe next lifetime, but really, like everybody's on their own journey. And I
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree that there's no point in judging people and being like, oh, why would they do that? It's none of my business, like it's
And it is none of your business. It's
yeah.
none of anybody's business unless they're being unkind. That's what I said to you before. I really, when I was working in retreat centers, when I would get people to help with my programs, I wouldn't,
Hmm.
I didn't mind if you had 1 million degrees. Doesn't interest me. I just want to meet you and
Yeah.
see, because I was able to see things. I just want to see if you have a heart, if you're coming from your heart. I mean, it's a very under-resourced thing for a lot of people is to really utilize this because this is the most powerful organ we have apart from, you know, our
Hmm.
intuition
Hmm.
is something that, if we can really work these areas, that's where the magic does happen.
Definitely. Definitely. I couldn't agree more. So
And
tell me, oh,
sorry.
sorry. No, please go ahead.
I love your flowering into 5D. Can I ask you how that was birthed, obviously, because everything is a birth and a death and a rebirth?
Yeah, yeah. So I've really fallen in love with flowers over the past like maybe year or so. I used to have this really weird attitude about flowers, like, yeah, they're whatever, they're not food. Like it's such a weird thing to say out loud, but I'm like, not to say like they're useless, but I was just like, but they're not food, so why would I grow them? Like I'm growing food, I'm not growing flowers. But I really think that as I've aged and I've come more into my feminine self, I realize that it is like a flowering. You're opening up slowly, slowly to this. And for me, I feel like I'm opening up to this new consciousness of 5D. And, maybe some people are like, I don't know what 5D is, but for those of you that haven't heard of it, it's awakening into a higher consciousness, basically. Um, I like to describe it just as love because really it's just evolution into love all the time. I mean, there's so many more levels to it. And to be honest with you, I think you were the first person that mentioned 5D to me. And I just was like, what is it? Wow, like, wow. And so, yeah, I just, I started studying human design. Just to go back for a second, I started studying human design and I loved it. Um, and just, absolutely fell in love with it. But then somebody told me about this 5D cosmic human design, which uses true sidereal astrology rather than tropical astrology, which really, for me, as I looked into it more, felt more soul led. It felt more conscious because true sidereal astrology actually uses the real sky. Like if you take one of those like Star Walk apps or whatever, where you can like point it at the sky and show you where the planets are and, the constellations, this is what they're using to tell you where the planets are actually at. It's not just some calculation that's 2,000 years old. And that for me just felt more soul led, more real to 2025. And so I really felt that this true sidereal astrology applied to human design is like this 5D, because when I initially saw my 5D human design chart and I was like, no, because my ego is like, I'm a projector in traditional. So don't tell me that I'm not a projector because I am the wise guy, but that, ego attachment, just like I had the same thing when I discovered true sidereal astrology. Don't tell me I'm not a Taurus. How dare you? Close the window, cut it off. Don't say that about me. I am not an Aries. But then, as we start to soften, I realized that, you know what? Maybe it is accurate. And the more I softened and flowered into it, the more I realized this is actually who I am when I'm at my best, like when I'm more aligned, when I'm eating the right foods, when I'm not staying up till midnight Googling stuff, or like click, click, clacking, like it's, so that's where the name came from, honestly, is like flowering into this beautiful 5D consciousness that I really feel is coming for those who want it.
Beautiful. That sounds really lovely.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for asking.
Welcome.
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask maybe one or two more questions just really quickly. So I wanted to know for people who are new to spirituality, what could you say to those people? Like quick little like, I'm new, what's going on around here? Whoop, my light just fell down. Yeah, tell me.
Say that. Lights are gonna come down.
Yeah, literally the lights are gonna come down.
And you're gonna go, someone's gonna go, wake up. Now, hopefully there is, just to understand that there is a bigger picture, that there is that soul, as you talked about. There is always that evolution. And from a Kundalini's perspective, they say we're going to go from the Homo sapien to the Homo sanctus, the spirited human.
Mm-hmm.
It is bringing that soul down. We're not going anywhere to anybody or anything anymore. It's about activating the spiritual, the higher realms within us, which we already are. Mm-hmm. It's just the illusion of the veils of things that have been very heavy. We've been in a different level of consciousness. We've been in a dark age, a shadow frequency. And the world has to go through that. There has to be up and down, light and dark.
Like the yugas, right? Would you say like the yugas?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So for people, it depends on what your soul print is as well. Some people like Eckhart Tolle, does he just sit on a park bench and become enlightened? No. Perhaps he's done a bit of work in previous lifetimes just to go, if that happens, just like that. I don't think anybody's, it'd be nice if we could all, it's not particularly going to happen. So we have to look at your soul signature. You have to do the inner work. I mean, you can't, there's no longer taking just magic pills because people know that they don't work. Look at the health system in the West. They don't actually do much good for some people. Then it's the trillion-dollar industry. So is yoga. Yoga is a trillion-dollar industry in the West. But again, there's a flip side to everything. There's a shadow side to anything, even in body. And we have that shadow side. And as a guide and a practitioner as well, I always want to share that with people that, you know, I haven't perfected any of this. I don't know anything. I'm just here to assist you, to guide you, because we're not broken. I think that is a really big thing. There's a lot of labels. Everyone's being labeled as something, and everybody's got that theme of I'm broken. There's something really wrong with me. And I think finding that higher connection, like if I have a participant or a client come, and I hate to use those words as well, coming to me with so much darkness, so much trauma, what can I can't change what happened to them.
Right.
We can't do anything with that. It's happened. We can't change the past. If you want to be a magician or witch, go for it. But that's not what I do, apart from the magic bit. But all we can do is take it to a higher perspective and bring, because if you've got that much light, dark, you have to have that much light. It's not exclusive. And I think, and you can see their little eyes go, she didn't tell me that I was crazy. She didn't say, oh, you poor thing, you know, your life's ended. I'm like, well, let's unpack it. Let's see where we can find where those stories are coming from, because remember, we're run by our subconscious mind as running the scripts.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And you can do all the yoga you like, you can do all the meditation you like, you can do all the blogging, you can do all the podcasting you like. If you want to ascend, we got to go down to go up. And that's why working with the womb, I think, has been so powerful for me. But it has brought up a lot of, you know, Scorpio, you know, the Scorpios, you know, and astrological thing, it's the death. So I don't choose the skipping the rainbows thing, but I also am very intuitive. So you get the gifts as well as the shadows.
Definitely.
And that really helped me when I was going through my dark tunnel that I'm just coming out of. That I knew that there was a gift somewhere, because I've done a lot of inner work. I knew that this was a transition. Didn't make it any easier. I still, some days I really didn't show up for myself very nicely. But that's reality of being human. I think we have to understand that you're not always going to get, if I got it 100% right, why would I be here? I'm here to learn.
Definitely,
you know?
definitely. And speaking of learning, I'm just curious, like, how can people work with you? I know, like, I'll share your Instagram after you answer this question. But like, how can any, like, do people have to be in Rishikesh? Like, tell us more about how people can work with you.
Both, yeah. Being in Rishikesh, obviously, it's beautiful because I love the Ganga. The Ganga is so healing. And there's a lot of people doing some really good work here. And online, I've been working online with people for many, many years. And a lot of them say, oh, this is kind of like we were in Thailand, or this is like we were in Cambodia. So it's the same, but obviously different. But the work, as I say, I'm a guide. The frequencies are so different that doing this work 10 years ago, yeah, it was a lot harder. It probably wouldn't have worked so easily online. But I really see that you can feel energy is transmutes and transforms through the waves of consciousness, through the waves of boundaries, of borders, because, you know, borders and like time is just a human construct.
So true. So true.
Isn't it?
We're
going beyond that when we're doing soul work, when we're doing soul play. I try not to work this work thing. And that's, again, my old paradigm that I'm playing into. But the soul play, you're going into your soul, which is infinite and lives in the now, which is, you know, there's nothing wrong with the soul. I always love to term it like you're like an octopus, this giant octopus, and you got these tentacles, and they're just experiencing that. But your soul is, and they say the octopus, like I did get a beautiful tarot deck reading from a gorgeous friend and talking about the octopus has lived through all the ages. It's survived the ages.
That's so cool.
So like us, we're infinite, we're immortal, you know, it's only this physical body that we are ascending into, because, again, depending on your type, like I'm a Vata, and I've always just wanted to fly. I'm like, I'm going places. Meditating, I'm doing retreats, I've been meditating hours and hours. I'm like, yeah, going. But where are you going? You've always got to be in your body. You've got to land at some point. So you might as well try and give yourself a softer landing then. And that's why a lot of people take, you know, escape, take substances like we all have in our misspent youth.
For sure. So I'm just going to direct everyone who's listening to your Instagram, which is at wahewildwisdom.com. And I'll just spell that. That's WAHEWILDEWISDOM.com. So
So
it looks
so the Wahe Wild Wisdom came about. My first spiritual name was Wahe Durga.
oh.
So I love Wahe, which means kind of ecstasy.
Mm-hmm.
The wild, like I've lived a pretty wild life. Traveling the world and doing this work is not, for the faint-hearted. And there's a lot of wisdom that I found doing this work with beautiful participants because we all learn. Like everyone's my teacher, everyone's my student. It's a beautiful transference of connection. Yeah.
And Maria Louise, I am so looking forward to seeing more of you online. I know that your soul tribe is going to come and just surround you with love because you are so amazing. And I can't say enough good things about you, honestly. I'm so grateful to have you join my podcast. I'm so grateful to have you here today and just to connect with you. And I'm just so grateful.
Thank you, Sam, for all your beautiful energy and for putting me online. This is my first foray online. So I've been hiding clearly in your 50s, been hiding out for a while, but yeah, it's time. It all happens when it's meant to happen, isn't it?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. It's so funny. I saw your post. I can't remember which one it was. And I just said, you know what? I'm contacting Maria Louise and putting her on my podcast. And like, I don't know, the call happened. My first episode was called Answering the Call for a reason. But it looks like we're about to get cut off. So I just want to say thank you so much. And it was an absolute pleasure. And I can't wait to keep up with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.